the lottery leaves, in fact, has the soap properties. This was actually in the past, people were using the lottery leaves for cleansing the body as soap. And it is not only for dead people, it is for live and dead people both. So that's why it has antibacterial properties. And also the camphor is the same. It actually has antibacterial, antivirus, and anti-germ properties. And I don't know if you know this, but maybe you can search. It is said that if you apply camphor oil on your body, then you are not going to get the bite of mosquitoes. And so it means that it was meant by using the camphor to distract the bugs from the body. And also, it is very important to know that, many people, they actually try to have contact with the body, before entrusting it to the grave. So that's why it could be very dangerous. So that's why, the use of, the citrus leaves and also the camphor would be helpful to prevent from contraction of the diseases or viruses. So, as I said, you see that clothing are here, and you have to remove the clothing, and you have to check the body if there is actually anything which will prevent the water to reach the body. And then also you have to make sure there is no intrinsic or substance of najasat on the body. You have to remove any najasat. For example, if there is blood, first you have to wash away the blood before going through the washing ceremony. So, and also it is recommended to, before starting the washing ceremony, to compress the stomach in order to remove the waste from the body, because you don't want to actually see the waste after concluding the ghusl. And if this waste touches the shroud, then you have to do tathir, you have to purify the shroud, and or also you can cut it. But so in order to actually prevent this to happen, so they say you have to compress the stomach many times in order to remove the waste. You can just maybe ask help from others to lift the head a little bit, so this will help to actually get rid of the some waste from the body. And also it is good to apply some cotton pads on the orifices of the body in order to prevent the exit of the waste from the body. So when actually you do this, then usually people, they do the washing for the body by the soap. And this is not wajib, but it is good, as I said, in order to make sure the body is qualified for washing ceremony or ghusl. So there is no blood, there is no any obstacles on the body. So when you do the regular washing, which is not part of the ghusl, then the body would be ready for the actual ghusl ceremony. So it is recommended that when you do the ghusl ceremony, the body be towards Qibla too. So it means that like as we said, in a state of ihtizar, the feet will be towards Qibla. If we can do the same when we put the body on the table, this would be recommended, inshallah rahman. So, when we do the ghusl ceremony, the first thing which we have to do is Mayyat. This Mayyat will make distinction between ibadat and non-ibadat, action. So, it is required to have first the Mayyat, that you are doing this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That you do this qurbatan ila Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in order to get closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or you are doing this liwajhillah, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also it is required to ask permission from the person who is wali or in charge or guardian of the deceased. So if the son is dead, so the father would be the wali. Okay. If the father is dead, so the firstborn son would be the wali. If the wife is dead, the husband would be wali. So this is required, that you have to ask permission to do the ghusl. It is not required for kafan, for takfeen, or for putting the body into grave, but for the ghusl ceremony, it is required, unless you are sure that the wali is giving permission to do this. But I will say it is better to ask this permission from the wali. So you get the permission, and also you are now ready to do the ghusl. How you are doing the ghusl? The ghusl is, as I said, would be done 3 times, and the way we do the ghusl is like that. First, you have to wash the head and neck, and then you have to wash the right side, and you pour the water. Actually, do we have any jar here? Or yes, we have a jar. Yeah. So let me take it from this, because the cedar is the first. Okay, so.
Yeah, we will put in that box. Yes. When you're ready, we have to take out everything.
Yeah, no, we can't take it.
Stand by.
So, as I said, we have to remove the body, the clothing, but also you can do the washing where clothing are on. So, they say sometimes you still have to do this, and because it was narrated that Imam Ali alayhi salam, made the ghusl for Prophet and for Fatima, and their clothes were actually on them. So the clothing will not prevent the water from reaching the body. But it is better to remove the clothing, but you always have to cover the private parts. And also it is better to wear the gloves, because touching the private parts without gloves would be forbidden. It is not halal, it is haram. So you put the gloves. If you put the gloves, also you have to know one benefit of putting the gloves is that if you touch the body with the gloves, then the ghusl mass mayyat is not necessary in this situation. But if you do it without gloves, then you have to do ghusl mass mayyat. Right? So you want to remove the yes, go.
Assalamu alaikum. How our process work? In this one, when something happen in the community, we get the phone call. For Jafri, I get the phone call, and then phone call comes to us. We get all information from the family, and then it's family's choice where they want to go to the cemetery. We have 3 cemeteries: Denbury, we have Enfield, and Cheshire. So it's family's choice where they want to go. And then we get all information, personal information from the family, which information goes to the cemetery and the funeral director. Like we have a body here. Funeral director collect the body from the hospital, hospice, or anywhere else. They bring the body to us. Managing this whole process, it costs money. And this whole process, our cost in Jafria is $200, which is, for example, this box. Anything on the body will go in this box. This is biohazard box. It costs us $69. We cannot dump anything from the body in the dumpster. Everything will go here. This is state regulation. We have to follow this one. We have to keep the document ready for state audit. Alhamdulillah, we have everything available in this one. Second thing is, we have, this is also a state requirement, dead body bag. You cannot move your body without this bag in this state. It costs money. Overall, everything included in this one, it costs about $200. You see a lot of things here. We have a kafan, we have chemicals, we have aprons, we have disposal gloves. So it costs us $200. Alhamdulillah, we are managing this one, and Jafria is not contributing anything. We are not taking anything from the Jafria. All this one is shared with the family and all your contribution. Second, when we get the body here, we call Maulana. First thing is, we call Maulana about how we are going to handle this one. And Alhamdulillah, we are thankful to him. He is doing this service with us for last 15, 20 years. We should loudly have a salawat for him.
Please, this is my vocation and my wajib to do this, and there is no need for thanking me, and I'm doing my wajib, inshallah. Thank you. Okay. So you want to remove inshallah, the clothing from the body. As you see, also there is another requirement in the jurisprudence that the person who is performing the ghusl should be from the same gender. It means that if the deceased is a woman, then the washer should be woman. If the deceased is man, the washer should be man. But one exception for the husband and wife, the husband can actually wash or do the ghusl for his wife or his deceased wife, and also the wife can actually perform the ghusl for her deceased husband. And also the maharim, they can do the ghusl for each other. I mean the relatives, which actually they are in a state of mahram, they can do the ghusl for each other with some restrictions. And the less restriction would be for husband and wife. And so this is another important issue, that if there is no same gender to perform the ghusl, what we have to do, according to the jurisprudence, for example, if the deceased is a lady and there is no Muslim ladies to perform the ghusl, then you can ask the help from non-Muslim people, from non-Muslim ladies to help. But before doing the actually ghusl Mayyat, you have to ask them that they have to perform the ghusl for themselves. They have to do ghusl first, then they can perform the ghusl of Muslim woman who actually is deceased. So this is important thing. And also who actually on whom we have to do the ghusl. Usually it is said that if the baby is unborn and it is less than 4 months, then there is no requirement for doing the ghusl. You just actually wrap it in the piece of fabric and put the body in the grave. But so if it is embryo, so there is no requirement for the ghusl. But if it is fetus, which means 4 months and older, so in this situation, the ghusl is required. So now the clothes is actually removed. As I said, the body is considered najis. Okay, it will be tahir when you conclude the 3 ghusls. So you can ask someone to actually get the water, which is mixed with sidr first. So you have to do the ghusl, these 3 ghusls in order. It means that first you have to do with sidr. No, this is okay. That's the sidr. Okay. Lotri leaves. So we have to mix the leaves of sidr tree or lot tree into the water. But we have to be cautious about the quantity of actually sidr we put into the water. It should not be that much to the extent that you are not able to call it water. So it should be, according to Islamic jargon, it should be mutlaq water. Mutlaq water means that even though there is substance in the water, but still you can call it water. And it should not be that much, that much actually less or too little to the extent that you cannot notice the leaves of the sidr in the water. So you have to be sure that you are not going to the extreme in both sides. It should be still the water, you can call it water, and at the same time it is not too little. So we are going to do in order. It means that we have to do first the ghusl with actually the leaves of the leaf of the sidr, then with the comfort, then with the pure water. We cannot change this order. So if you go first with the comfort, then with the actually sidr, then we have to repeat the ghusl. We should follow the order. So as I said, the first thing we have to do the Mayyat, that we are going to conduct the Ghusl al-Mayyat qurbatan Allah Ta'ala. So this brother is coming here and he is pouring the water, which is mixed with the sidr actually, and we have to scrub the body too. It is not only pouring the water. So I do the scrubbing. First, as I said, you have to do the head and the neck. Then the right side, you pour the water here all the way, and so all the way, and the hand, actually the arm, and under the arm, actually every spot of the body should be reached by the water. Then you are going to, as I said, lift the actually right side in order to wash the back, and also you have to wash every spot, even actually between the buttocks. And then when you are done, you are going to do the same procedure with the left side. So you're taking the water, which is mixed with the sidr, and wash first actually in the front, and you are just scrubbing, and you are making sure that this should not be here when you are doing the ghusl, because we said anything which will prevent the water from reaching the body should not on the body actually. So this is the way that we do. We are making sure that every spot is touched by water, and then you do the same thing, and you are going to wash the left side, and you are making sure that every spot is reached by water. And also you have to do, as I said, with the private one, you have to be sure, because this is the actually the location which would be difficult to be sure that, you know, the water will reach every location. So that's why you have to wear the gloves, and also sometimes it needs to scrub the body in order to be sure that the water is actually reaching every spot of the body. So when you are done with the first washing, then you actually move to the second washing, which would be the actually washing with the water, which is mixed with camphor. As I said, camphor is actually has the antibacterial, antivirus properties, and also it has very sharp smell and sour taste. So you know, as I said, we have some benefits of using this camphor, you know, in the washing. So you are taking actually the water, and we do the same procedure again. First, your Mayyat should be continued there actually, and also washing the head and neck, and then you are going to wash the right side everywhere. Actually, I'm moving with actually the pouring water in order to be sure that I am actually reaching every spot of the body and nothing is left, and we have to be sure about this. So we are done with this. We are lifting the body and you know, pouring the water and scrubbing the body in order to be sure, as I said, the water is reaching everywhere. When we are done with this side, then we go to the left side. We do the same procedure, washing, pouring the water here, and washing, and actually the arms and hands, and every, actually even the, you know, the fingers. We have to be sure that the water is reaching there, and also the you know, the foot here. Then we actually lift the body and wash here also in order to be sure that the water is reaching every spot of the body. So this is the second actually washing. The third washing would be the washing with pure water. If you have the hose, this would be easier. If you don't have the hose, then you have to actually use the jug or the pitcher and also do the same thing. First the head and neck and the right side, and you are sure, you have to make sure that, you know, every spot is washed, lifting the body actually from the right side, and do the same procedure, washing all the way to the foot, and you are sure that every spot is reached by the water. You do the same thing for the left side, and you are putting water here, and you know, your arms and hands, and actually the leg, and to the. When you are done with this, it means that you concluded what's the Mayyat. It is good to dry out the body with towels, and you know, also you are making sure there is no bleeding, and making the drying all the way from the back too. You have to dry. I mean, it's not wajib, but it is good to do this in order to make sure there is no bleeding, because if there is bleeding, then actually the shrouding would not be easy. You have to make sure that there is no bleeding in order to make that, to keep the shroud on. So when you are done with this, we have actually the second wajib which we have to do on the body, which would be the comforting. Comforting, as I said, is coming from the camphor. Camphor is actually, we are crushing the camphor. Also, we have to have the niyyah And so, and you apply the crushed or powdered comfort on your hand. You actually, wipe first the forehead of the deceased with the comfort, and you have the Mayyat. Then any spots which we put on in the sajda is required to do the comforting. So you do the right hand, the palm in the right hand and also in the left, then actually the knees and the tip of big toes, okay? And should you do this procedure in order? Usually the scholars, they say the only order is required is that first you have to do the forehead. But it is not required to follow the order beyond the forehead. It means that you can do first the knees, then the hands, or you can do the hands first, then the knees, and go to the toes. So this is also another requirement for after the ghusl, and this is part of the funeral service. Then the body would be ready to be shrouded. So usually, we have to move the body to the second table, and this would be easier. So brothers, can you just put this stretcher here? So then, now, we move the body from this one.
Before you want to explain this,
I'm going to do it. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so the shrouding also is part of funeral, ceremony, and usually we have recommended things in shrouding, and also we have the only wajib thing. The wajib thing is that we have to shroud the body in 3 pieces. One, the first piece is called loincloth, which should cover from the navel to the knees. So this is from the navel, from the navel to the knees. But it is recommended to go further till actually covering the feet too. So this is mustahab. But the wajib is that from navel, and also can go a little bit further here to the chest and cover actually from the navel to the knees. As I said, it is good to apply some cotton pads in orifices in order to be sure that there would not be any, waste coming out from the body and making the shroud najis. So you want to keep the shroud tahir actually in any time. So this is called loincloth, or in Arabic it's called mi'zar. Mi'zar is actually the piece of actually fabric or cloth which will cover the navel till to the knees. And it should be, usually it is cotton. You cannot use the silk. And anything, if the gold is part of the fabric also, it is not acceptable. So this is the first actually piece of the shrouding. So the second one is actually the piece which should cover from the top of the shoulder to the middle of the calf. Okay, so this is the wajib, thing. But you can also, as I said, recommended to go to the feet. It's okay. But this is the wajib. From the top of the shoulder, it should be covered to the middle of the calf. This is the wajib, covering for for the second piece. And we have to be sure. Sometimes I notice that when the body is big, the cover for the first or second is not wide enough to cover from the front. So it is required that one side overlap the other side. So we have to be sure that we cannot just by rope to actually tie these two sides together. No, we have to be sure that the fabric is wide enough in order to overlap the other side. Okay, so this is very important. The third cover is called izar. The second one was called qamis. The first one is called mizar, and the second one is called shirt. The first one is called loincloth, and the third one is called izar, or the full cover. So the full cover should cover the entire body, and also should be actually in the length that you can actually make a tie here and tie actually both sides, the head and actually the feet. Yeah, you can just tie it. So this would be that tall. And I see sometimes it's not that much tie. People have difficulty to make tie here. So this is actually required that it should be tall enough that you are able to tie the two sides, the head side and the foot side of the body. So by this, we are done two actually important procedures. One was the washing, and also comforting technique, and also we did what we call it shrouding. So now the body is ready for prayer. So this would be what we call it Salatul Janazah, and we have to offer Salatul Janazah on the body before entrusting it to the grave. Usually, people they do the Salatul Janazah in mosques or in Imam Barga, but I think it is more better to do it in the cemetery. And because in the cemetery, you feel more about the concept of death, and also would have more spiritual effect. And this is what I noticed. Maybe it is not the case in every situation, but this is what we have to do Salatul Janazah. So we have to do the Salatul Janazah too, or we can do.
Is there any difference between men and women in this one?
No, for the wajib part, actually there is no difference. So 3 pieces. But it is recommended, for example, for the man to actually make a turban for his head, actually in order to put the head in the turban, and for the ladies to put what we call it a maqna'a, or a scarf to do it. But this is not wajib. This is only mustahab, and also it is good to cover the loin part. It means that the middle, in order to prevent in ways to make the shroud najis, and some they put another fabric over there, and this is also recommended, but it is not wajib. The wajib, as I said, is 3 pieces. 1 piece should cover from the navel to the knees. The second part is what we call it shirt or qamis, which will cover from the top of the shoulder to the middle of the calf. And the third one, which is called al-izar, which will be full cover, which will cover the entire body from the head to the feet, and you go a little bit longer in order to be able to tie the both sides, inshallah rahman. So by this we are done with the wajib of ghusl and kafan, and if anyone has any questions, I would be able to answer. I would do it inshallah, yes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't pay attention. My question is this: if the nail polish is not removable, the body is still najis even we do the ghusl?
As I said, we have two types. This is my understanding. If I'm wrong, need for participation in the washing of the dead body. You have to feel it is like you are offering salat zuhr. You are offering salatul maghrib. You are offering fasting. It is wajib, like any other wajib. Yes, the difference is that namaz is wajib aini, that everyone should offer the namaz, but ghusl al-mayyat is wajib kafai. It means that we have to be sure enough people will do the job. If they don't do the job, then it means that everyone who hears about this need would be responsible. And if you don't come and the body is left without washing, it means that the person who was aware about the fact is responsible according to the Sharia. Okay, so this is the important thing that sometimes I notice that only certain people are assigned to do the ghusl in the community. This is maybe good for convenience, but also this is taking the opportunity for the rest of the people to participate in this important procedure. Because as I said, participation in the ghusl al-mayyit would have positive effect on everyone, because as I said, your actually perspective about the life would be changed. Many people actually, they are so immersed in the materialistic aspect of this life, but when they come and see the dead body, when they participate in the washing ceremony, they would figure out, look how life is, uncertain. And this could be for any one of us, and we don't know, it will be soon or later. God.
Brother Mayyat, do we send such an email that we might need help? Do we have a method of sending an email or something that we might need help with the washing or burial?
We have 5-6 people, and we are trying to bring youth and anyone next time when.
Yeah.
So I will welcome.
I think it will be better to send it so that if there are more people.
Okay, if there's any other questions, I would answer, inshallah, if I'm capable. And if not, maybe Sister Nika would continue. Unfortunately, I have another commitment for actually another place, so, but if you want to continue, Sister, inshallah Rahman,
you did a great job. We, as a team, we are very thankful to you and all the
welcome,
community
inshallah.
members who came here and who learned here. This is Sadaqah Jariyah.
Inshallah, inshallah. Thank you very much.
And we want to make a group for the ghusl and kafan. So if you want to participate, first come, first basis. So please, we don't have to ask that please come and do this. You have to do at your own. Please show up that we are interested and we are available to do this ghusl and kafan, so we will be here at this time.
Inshallah.
We did the last body and she waited 5 days. Believe in me, she waited 5 days because we were not available and she was Iranian and Iranians were not doing this. As Maulana said, it is wajib kifaya. If we heard this, so the responsibility comes on our shoulder. We have to do this. So if you are interested, if you are available, because some days everybody has different days off. So if you are interested in this and you have learned this, so please join a group. And first come first basis you will enter in this. We need this. We don't know who is the next. On this ghusl, we were 3 here. Sister Shiba was out of state. Sister Lubna was out of state, and we called Sister Saima Askari, we called Sister Mehreen, we called Sister Sabah Firoz, and we called Malika, and they show up. So then we handled it. And Maulana's wife, yes, she was here, and Maulana helped us. This was the first case we handled it that was so critical. So everybody has to learn it. Please take it serious. Everybody who is alive, kul nafsin zaqatul maut. Everybody has to taste this. Taste may be like asal, like shahad, like honey, or you know more better than me. Thank you.
So as Sister actually said, all of us should be ready to participate in this wajib. I see that some people, when they are the deceased from their own culture, they have more motivation to participate. But if she or he is from different culture, there is less motivation. But this is not right. This is duty on every Muslim to participate in the Ghusl ceremony. We cannot say this is Iranian or Pakistani or Iraqi or Afghani, and we have to participate, inshallah. But I would like to conclude, the majlis by reciting some dua from Quran for the people who passed away, and inshallah I would like you to, inshallah, repeat after me. ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب اللهم بلغ أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات تابع بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك على كل شيء قدير اللهم بلغ أرواحهم جميعا خصوصا أرواح موتى من حضر جمعنا ثواب الفاتحة تسبقها الصلوات على محمد وآل محمد
اللهم صل على محمد.
Thank you, Maulana.
السلام عليكم